We'll record onto this. Here we go. So I'm going to start to record it.
Wow. I didn't know that did this before.
Did what
It's
before?
now, it's allowing me, I have to give consent. So I'm either continuing or leaving your meeting.
Oh,
Yeah, that's great.
that's new. I
I
like
think I'll
that.
leave. Bye-bye.
Bet you don't. It's the only chance you and I are going to get to see each other before I head out again.
You're not coming to my Starbucks?
Not coming to your Starbucks. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. I'm officially reporting. So I saw the thing and going on again with Amy, and then I made a few notes, and I thought I haven't talked to an accounting professional in like 3 weeks because I've been on holidays with people who won't let me talk technology, accounting, nothing. And I went, I'm going to just do a live session here. Obviously not live on Facebook though. And so then I created a quick little bookmark of things. And the first thing you can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay, so the first squirrel. The first thing, my specialty, the first thing I saw this morning, just give me 2 seconds here. I'm just moving things around so that I can see better. The first thing that came into my, well, not the first thing, but it came into my email today was this through AppSumo. Anybody else get the AppSumo emails? Did you see this come in, reply button?
I did. And I thought, you know what? That's a squirrel that I need to not look at.
Yeah, I don't need to look at it either. I've got everything I need that covers all of this in 17 hats. But when I saw it, it almost spoke to the exact same problem that Amy had. And that's getting her clients to do things easily for her. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll just throw that out there. So it's AppSumo reply button. You can find it. And I think I put it in the watering hole this morning.
You did?
You did.
I did, yeah. So I thought, oh, okay, well, that definitely addresses some of those things. I thought it was kind of fun.
AppSumo and Zapier are like two addictions that I just cannot break.
They are addictive.
Well, yeah, AppSumo I'm fine on. It's only fun when I see things like this.
Oh, I know.
Zapier,
Yeah.
I've got my zaps. And the thing is, I learned a lesson on Zapier. And I went and I created a zap to tie Acuity and Zoom together. And then I'm like, oh, you dumbass. They already, right, I just saw your outside Tiffany. They already tie together.
They already have a native integration.
Right. That was early in my Zapier days. So I learned that. Settle down.
FYI, people, whenever there's a native integration, use that rather than Zapier.
Except, I will say, sometimes the native integration, 17 hats is a good example. It doesn't send over the information I want to QuickBooks Online. So I zap the contact over to QuickBooks Online and the invoice follows later with the native integration. Otherwise, it does duplicate contacts and it doesn't send anything but the contact name. So, and it puts it all in the first field, the first name. So some native there's another one, I can't remember, but now I'm squirreling away here because I wanted to then take a super quick look at this. This is in the Keeping It Simple department. So this is actually, I love Gantt charts just to see what stuff has been done. And Monday.com, which you're using, right, Tiffany?
I am.
Monday.com, if you do a good job of it, does a Gantt chart. You can create a Gantt chart out of it. Dubsado is supposed to be able to create a Gantt chart out of your work, but I didn't have any luck when I test drove it. But Dubsado and I love Dubsado, but it doesn't suit the way I think always.
Love-hate relationship.
It kind of is. It's too complicated sometimes for me. 17 hats is more simple would be the way to put it, I think. At any rate, Elia, and correct me if I'm wrong, pipeline would be similar to a Gantt chart, right?
Yes, it would. If I understand what Gantt, I actually forget the terminology. Is that the one with the columns where you can move them over?
Yeah, ish. It's right here. Am I sharing?
Oh, just like, yep. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I guess there's just different names for it, but yes.
I thought Gantt was where it showed the dependencies. So it's a little bit different. Like pipeline is a lot easier. Gantt is more like it shows the different dependencies and this has to start here and that.
Oh,
like a tree view or something?
Okay. At any rate,
Anyway.
One of the things that I've seen people struggling with is knowing higher level where their things are. Some of the apps will do it for them. 17 Hats is one that doesn't do a particularly good job of it. It doesn't have any overview reporting. And so basically what I did, because I no longer have like a big client base, but I think anything under about 35, a simple spreadsheet would be the thing to manage stuff. I mean, this would be so simple. It takes me 2 seconds to check where I'm at with clients and just kind of keep track, especially if I have a client that for whatever reason we get stalled, and then I just check this periodically and there I am. I know what's going on. This obviously isn't my actual one. My clients are not all dog names. And so, but if I had my way, I would only have dogs as clients and as family members. But at any rate, I just wanted to show this, how sometimes you can knock it back to the most simple thing. I know we're not supposed to be hyped on spreadsheets for workflows, but sometimes I am. I mean, sometimes just keeping it simple. So if you don't have 5 employees and 100 clients, if you've got, I would say this, like, you know, if you took it down to here to 30, that's still a visual you can keep track of who's doing what. And then the other thing, I have a client where it's a moving target. They're a fairly new client. I've only had them since the summer. Their business is evolving. What I'm doing for them is evolving, and trying to keep everybody on track was getting to be a bit of a struggle. And Elia, that's the one that I put into, remember I was test driving Taxdome with a client?
Yep.
That's this client. So, but what I did in the meantime for them and for me before, because again, you weren't here in the beginning, Elia, but I'm basically taking the winter off. And so I didn't finish them in Taxdome. But what
Go
I
skiing.
did, yeah. And you know what, we'll have to talk about that. I saw you were out skiing. You're making me insane, man. So what I did for this client is, as we were trying to decide what needed to be done, we were just making a list of who's doing what and color coding the checkboxes. I know this seems really simple, but I built it out as we were, whereas normally I have client workflows that are built out and I can send them either a Google form. And so this speaks to the topic that Amy was saying, is trying to get her clients to do things. And then what I mean, I'm at the starting, the keep it simple thing before we move on to what all the different applications are going to do, because especially with this client, we needed to see what was going to, this is a demo one. Again, this isn't their actual one, but we needed to see what work needed to be done. They've never had a workflow. They've never had a process, and we didn't particularly know what it was going to look like, who's doing the invoicing. They have expense reports. They've got, you know, anyways, it doesn't matter. So you can see that I created this to get us through this year. Again, this is just a sample. But I'm not sure if any of you have seen where I have, and I should have had this open. Just give me 2 seconds. I should have had this open where I've created some templates. Anybody have some other ideas while we're talking about it of ways to get people to share and play nicely? This isn't all about me.
I've been playing around with using ClickUp to share a checklist for the client, and then it would be just a different view of this where they just check things as they go.
Yeah, and what about upload links?
I have a client portal on my website, so at the bottom of all of my emails and email requests, it just says click here. It doesn't require username or password, so that way they use it. They just drag and drop the files.
Yeah. Okay.
We've had
And
some-
then how do you know who it's from, Jessica?
It has a form. I mean, if I can share, I can show you really quick, or you guys can just go to my website and see it asks for their name, email address, and it has a comment box.
Ah,
Yeah, okay. I got you. I'm going to show you, and again, I'm winging it in this.
there's actually a new thing that I've been playing with.
Uh-oh.
Shiny squirrel.
Uh-oh.
I know. It's actually from Caseware, and it's called PBC, which is prepared by client in the year-end terms. And it's you can give them a list and they can upload, they can do short answers, they can do whatever, but then they can also have a conversation. So if you ask for a certain thing, they're like, I'm not sure what you mean. And then it goes back a conversation, then you can respond and then they can upload.
Oh,
And the pricing is ridiculous.
like inexpensive.
Like $144 a year.
That's good. Really? And it's called PVC?
Well, it's Caseware. So it's Caseware Cloud, which is $144 a year.
Right.
And then it's $10 per engagement, but you don't need to have an engagement to use PVC. So
Cool. Okay. Well, you know,
yeah, I'm trying to work around it so it works for other things, not just year-end tax stuff.
Yeah, because I think getting things from clients is, it's everybody, not everybody's. I will say, but you know, I don't know. My clients are great. That's all there is to it. But this is one that I created that you could, so this is a client, what they need to do, and a full checklist. Every client wouldn't need to do this, but it can be as simple as sending out a Google form every month to them, right? And I'm sure there's a way to automate that. Although hi Diane, although I don't think that Zapier automates Google Forms. So I'm not.
Do Google Forms allow them to upload?
Yeah. Oh, well, no, what I would do then is, so even in my 17 hats, I have a custom field, and that one of the custom field is shared document folder. And then there is a link in my emails that goes out for them to upload anything I need them to upload. So what you could do is when you go to send that, I mean, in here, make it for a particular client that you're having trouble with. And if you put in a question, where did it go? Oh, brother. If you put in a question, you can put in a link somewhere. There it is. You can put a link in to them. It's a live link. When you actually send the form, it's a live link, and it can say upload documents here.
So it'd be the same like putting Jessica's link in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so in 17 hats, it's a custom field for me. So it goes out in all of the documentation, and it's just a token that populates back in. I mean, 17 hats has solved a lot of the how to get things from my clients. So I guess that's part of the thing that makes it easier for me, is the custom fields in there. But all that being said, part of the process is going to be making sure that the client knows what they need to do, in what order they need to do it, and can there be a way that it's not just in the email. So that's why I started out with this AppSumo thing. If it has the checklist in it, right, which it does, that's kind of cool. Or if it just has a link to a checklist. Or do you use something, because then there is like in Taxdome, of course, you can have some conversations with your clients in a really nice way. That was one of the things that I liked. And because there's going to be a lot of weird sharing with this new client of mine, that's what appealed to me about that. But also, this is Kelly Unscripted, so I can't remember where I was going with it. Oh, it's, you know what? It's the chat function though. But Tiffany, Slack works for you, for your clients, right?
I don't use Slack with my clients for the most part.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. I know Seth does, and it works with him with his clients. Did anybody have any uptake with their actual clients with Slack? No, me either. No,
it's like another whole app. They just want to deal with their phones.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I had enough trouble, and it was my own fault. Probably my clients didn't embrace it because I didn't embrace it. I mean, if you're not the cheerleader, they're not going to take it on unless they already have it, right? But the chat was messier to me than what chat should have been for when they just want to ask a simple question. So the other thing that this client and I have done, so like I said, this isn't the actual one, but their live version looks very much like this. So it's color coded with who needs to do what at their team, because there's 4 or 5 people there that are doing things as well. And that's when it really gets confusing. This is telling them what it is that I am going to do for them, essentially. Again, this isn't the live version, but it would certainly work well to keep us all on track. And then their sheet, we actually have random tasks and to-dos. So what we've got is across the top, it's listed by the month. And then they had some invoices that they needed me to change. So they put the notes in here of invoices to change, because I don't let them change anything they have access to QBO, but I basically lock them out of it, right? So all they can do is invoice, but then they can't change the invoice. I close the dates. So it was this Google Sheet that we're using is working really well for that. And then if they have a note, they put the note next to it. Now, most of my clients are this company in particular happens to be a SaaS company. So they will embrace almost any way I tell them of doing anything, but they're highly disorganized outside of their own SaaS world. So this has really reined them in. I guess we don't need to stare down the blank page, do we? This has really reined them in on that. Oh, I couldn't even speak there. But I mean,
so you share this document with them?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've used Asana, and we will invite the client in to the project and then assign them the tasks.
Right.
And then we can communicate inside of Asana.
And how are they liking that?
We've had one client do well with it out of a handful. Everybody else, I mean, we use it for the initial onboarding, like when we need them to upload like their last tax return and, you know, certificate of incorporation and like all those things. We get probably about 50% response that we get it done. But if your client is already like responsive, I like it because we use it for our team and we talk all the time inside of Asana.
Right.
So
the thing is, I think the challenge for everybody is, and I did have this once. I had a client that I literally could just not get her to do stuff. I tried everything, and short of absolute hand-holding, which she was willing to pay for, I just didn't have the bandwidth for it. It just didn't happen. So I feel everybody's pain on it, even though most of my clients are actually really good about getting their stuff done. But I'm a nag. Like 17 Hats also auto nags for me. So in 17, and I'm just giving ideas here. It's not all about 17 Hats. But in the beginning, when I have a client, if they're not doing, stick your head in and say hello, Jeffrey.
Hello, Jeffrey.
If they're not doing, so in the beginning, I have an automated weekly email that goes out to the client reminding them of what it's called, the Monday morning reminder. And for the first 2 months that they're with me, they get, you know, you're in the thing, so don't do anything stupid back there. So that in the beginning, they get this automated email reminder that tells them what their tasks look like, the things to do, so that they're always on top of their books. And then once they're good at it, I stop those emails from going out. But the other thing, you can do some questionnaires, if you don't answer them, they'll keep going out until you answer them. Karbon does that, and 17 Hats does that. So
does Taxdome do it? Does Taxdome do it?
Ilya, does Taxdome do that?
I'm sorry, I actually didn't hear the first part. What, does Taxdome do what?
Nag clients.
Oh yeah, you control how it does it. So you can set reminders to be sent either indefinitely until it's done, or every 2 days, every 3 days. Let's say you want it only sent a maximum of 2 times. So you control the reminders. It's not just an automatic one size fits all, but you can control how often it gets sent when you create the request.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it has a similar feel to Karbon in that way, is what I recalled in what I sent out to my guys. And the organizer is really a questionnaire, right?
Yep, exactly. It's a questionnaire. So many people, and I'm sure on many of your websites, you either have a client intake form or an organizer you want them to complete that's a PDF form, but our organizer is interactive, and your clients can complete it either on their desktop, or if they download the mobile app, they can complete it right on their Android or iPhone, and it auto saves. And on top of that, it can prompt them to upload files right away. So I think somebody was asking earlier about Google Forms. That's one of the big differences about using all these different systems. So of course, you can accomplish what you're trying to do using Google Form and then a different system to get paid and a different system for messaging. You can do that, but then these systems don't talk to one another. Whereas here, let's say you can have the organizer get created and it prompts the clients to upload their, their income statement, or somebody mentioned their incorporation form. So if they're incorporated, they can upload it and the file goes right into their program. So having everything in one place really just saves you time if you're trying to do that.
Yeah, when I had my SaaS company upload a bunch of stuff in the beginning, they just did it right away. Now again, they're a SaaS company, so they joined right away. They uploaded and they answered the questions that I needed. I don't know what the perfect answer on getting clients to do things is, but I think it's going to start with creating habits. I think that's going to be a really big part of it, is you've got to create these habits in the clients. And that's why I started the Monday morning reminder when I was in the bigger onboarding phase of clients. And that Monday morning reminder really worked well. Yeah. So I'm open to ideas. I mean, the other one, there's Client Hub. Has anybody used Client Hub?
No.
I tried it briefly.
No. What I find is that, we need to service the clients. We need to be there for them.
Yeah.
I think it's not right for us to make them conform to our workflows. And so I need to meet my clients where they work. And for the most part, they're working on their phones, on their mobile devices, and they're getting emails and texts. And that's where I find all of our conversations happening. And I find it's really difficult for them to adopt anything else when I say, oh, download this app, download that app, and you talk to me this way. So then they have to, talk to everybody else in the world through text or through email, and then they have to talk to their accountant by whatever app it is that they were downloading.
Yeah.
And they can't even remember how to log in or where
Exactly.
to get to it, and it becomes more of a hassle. I mean, that's kind of why I liked Asana, because they get a message in an email from Asana, but they can also answer from their email. So that one was very cool, but Asana just doesn't have everything we need. So we're trying to move away from Asana.
Right.
So that's what we're looking at.
That reply button thing looks really kind of cool, Kelly.
You know what? It really did hit me. Now, again, for me, because all of the onboarding and all of the work that I do is basically coming out of 17 hats, I already have all of these things built in. So my clients, and when you say meet you where you are, I agree to a certain point, Tiffany, except that I can't make text actionable. So unless they're going to be late for something, or it's just a quick, Kelly, you're so awesome message, it's going to have to be an email, because email is how I disperse the information.
Agreed.
Or for right now with this one client, all of these weird notes that emails aren't going to make, but they're willing to do that in the Google Sheet. I'm not sure I would have a lot of clients do the Google Sheet thing. It's working for two, because I have another one that they're rapidly expanding and we're changing their processes. So we are building out like a live workflow as things change in a Google Sheet. And that's working for her as well. But all of those things, every one of them has upload links. So I agree with you, Tiffany. You have to make it easy for them. So the number one thing I think you have to do for your clients, other than give them clear directions and a workflow of some sort of their own, don't make them guess, so either you direct them to that Google Sheet link, but the email's got to have a place for them to upload things as well. Don't make them try and find it. Now, the other thing that I did, Kelly, the other thing that I did was I create, and this is coming, I create Google Chrome identities for my clients. So I hack out a Google Chrome identity of all the work that they're going to do, and then I send them their bookmarks and work and literally do a screen share, and we create, because a lot of my clients are actually in their offices, so it does work for them to have a dedicated Google Chrome. My clients by and large are not as much in the field. Only a couple of them are in the field.
What does that mean? What do you mean that you you have to explain that?
Okay.
Can you show us?
Yeah. Can I show you? So this is my coaching and I do presentations and webinars and different things, conferences. This is my conference coaching presentation identity. This is my accounting identity though. Oh, this is, so let's get out of it so that you can see what happens when I actually open it up. Hold on. Let's see where this is going to open. So I have an accounting identity, and when I open it, these are the things that open for me. I'm getting a few surprises because I was just open. These are my apps that open. And there you go. That was nice, Kelly. Why was that open, do you think? Does anybody care how much I charge one of my clients? Because they don't care. So these are the things that open for me. And then I have bookmarks for everything of what I need to do. And so I create these for my clients so they can work super efficiently. So even though I'm sending them a link to their G Drive folder, they would have a bookmark bar that has all of the things for them. So it would have their G Drive folder for the client that we're just working on all these new processes. They have the bookmark for their workflow sheet. Like for our, it's a collaboration sheet more than a workflow sheet right now, because again, there's so many of us involved in that file. It would have, whether they're on HubDoc or Receipt Bank, it would have that. It would have how they work. You know, invoices hacked out in a thing here. Did that make sense?
Yeah, no. So you must do a screen share with them and have them share their Google, their site, and then you create that for them on their email. So when they open it, they say, "Oh, I click on this," and then it opens up all the bar.
I have a browser. I create a browser for them. I create an identity in Chrome for them with all their work laid out, so that they and with their startup pages, so that when they go to do work for me or for their financials, they don't have to look for anything. It's all on their bookmark bar. So even their specialized custom reports and stuff, I've got them organized on their bookmark bar for them. Because if I have that, I think maybe some of you have heard my saying, make it easy so it gets done.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But it doesn't address the issue that Tiffany says, that Tiffany, a lot of your guys are in the field. They may be working on their phones.
A lot of them are.
Yeah. So my guys that are working on their phones, they still have this. The case of the one, his wife does a lot of the work actually once a month, and she appreciates having it. He wouldn't have a clue what's going on with it, but there is somebody in the office doing something, I guess, is the main thing. If there isn't anybody in the office, then creating a Chrome identity for them to work well isn't going to work, right?
Yeah. Now, so you're saying that you create the Chrome identity on your computer and then you share that with them, or you're actually share screening and creating it with them?
It depends.
On their computer.
I have a standard client one. So what I do is we create their identity, then I download, or I upload, if you will, the bookmark bar. I have a standard bookmark bar for clients. So I upload that. It takes all of 30 seconds, if that long, right? I upload their bookmark bar, and then we customize it for them in a screen share. It's part of the onboarding process.
Get it now.
Yeah, even in a file review, I spend a few minutes to do that with them, so that when they move on from me, let's say they're just having their taxes done or whatever it is, the reason I'm reviewing a file, then moving forward, they still have an easier accounting life. Yeah. So did that make sense, Elisa? Did I describe that okay?
Yeah, I'm still wondering, so, and maybe I'm not thinking of this correctly. When I open my Google, when I open my Gmail, I have my Google Suite. I see where you mean you can create different identities in Chrome, but that's if I understand it, that's personal to my email. So you would have to
Ah.
open up their email. No.
No, no.
Oh, okay.
Right. I didn't give a detail of that. It's what you're going to do is create a new Google account specific only to doing the work for Kelly. So it's only for that. And yes, they have to create a new email account, but they don't ever have to use it if they don't want. And the only reason you need to do that is so that you can sync it across your devices. So you can sync it on your desktop, your laptop, your iPad, whatever you want to do. As soon as you open that, as soon as you log into that Chrome identity, everything that we've created is in there. So you create a Google identity only so that you can sync across everything and that it stays consistent with what we're doing. I do the same thing. I've had 2 VAs. I have one now, and I had a virtual assistant in the past. I created a Chrome identity for the work that I wanted her to do for me, or for them. I did it for both of them, of the work that I want them to do for me.
And you do webinars on this? Because this is fascinating to me.
Yes, I do webinars on this. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I have to explore this more because it's very interesting.
And I'm getting off topic here because that's my specialty. It is game changing in working in SaaS. To use your Chrome identity properly is game changing. There's not one thing that will make you more efficient than using Chrome properly. Yeah. Okay. And you know what? So I guess it is kind of on that topic. It's the same thing for getting your clients to be able to do what you want them to do easily.
And you're meeting them and you're providing them with something that's very, very simple for them to use.
Yeah. So
that's, I think that's what we've been like, that's what we want. I think that's what the other person was saying was, meet them where they are. Well, if we provide something with something so simple, they'll do it.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's always my goal. Make it easy so it gets done. So every link has an upload. I mean, every email that is actionable gives them a way to upload, because as Tiffany said, some of them, they may actually be in the field, let's say. Or in the case, actually, my husband is a great example. He works strictly off his phone. He still sort of gets the stuff done that I need. He gets a nagging email at the beginning of the month, though, telling him all the stuff he needs to do, and that's scheduled. I don't automate that because I want to control when it goes out, the time of the day, and that it's not going out on the 1st if the 2nd is a Monday, yak, right?
Right. Okay.
So that goes out, and in there would be, if there's an action to be done, there's a way to do it right from that email. And so that's why this cute as a button thing kind of struck me for somebody who doesn't have something like 17 Hats, Dubsado, or Taxdome, or Karbon. Those would be the 4 that have actions built into them, into the programs. Am I missing any that have actions built in? I think those are the 4 auto-nagging, actionable CRM programs that come to mind.
Other than Caseware Cloud.
Yeah, that you just told me about that I don't know anything about. Googling. Googling.
They don't have a lot on there. You have to talk to somebody. Stupid.
Oh, I hate talking to people.
I hate it too.
So I guess one of the things we need to come back to is 1, make it easy for them to get it done. 2, have links if it's actionable. 3, questionnaires will chase them around town if they're not getting them done, automate that process. And 4, create a Google Chrome browser for them. Does that make sense? And then it's almost irrelevant what program you're using as long as you're using a program that you like, right? And I come back to that all the time. Just like I said.
Sorry, what about the email? Is that a G Suite email that is separate from maybe other G Suite emails that they have?
What do you mean? Are we back on the browser?
Yeah, sorry. You were saying that you created an email specific for their
Chrome? Just an account. You're creating a Gmail, but it's
Okay.
really, you're just creating a Google account. They never even have to look at it if they don't want.
And it's at Gmail, not a G Suite account. You don't want to pay for that.
Yeah, it's not G Suite. It's none of that. You're literally just creating a free Google account so that will sync across all of their devices. It has nothing to do with how they're going to communicate with you other than you've set the bookmarks up for them. Right? So they don't use them. I have this, I have a few more that aren't even listed on here. So I think I have 8 accounts. I don't know what's going on in any of the emails except for Kelly at ComWaters and ComWaters at ComWaters. Like only my G Suite ones that are coming into the same place. I don't know anything that's going on in the other ones. I don't care. And so that's the same with my clients. They're using whatever they need. Anybody else have some ideas around this?
I think we're all geeking out about the whole Chrome thing. You sent everyone into a tailspin on that one.
Did I? Because some of you guys know this party trick,
Yeah.
I think, right?
I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I learned it
that.
from Michelle Long years ago.
Uh-huh.
Really?
I haven't thought about using it for clients though. That part I like.
Oh, my
Yeah.
clients really like it. Now, I have one client, he's absolutely hilarious because he's hilarious in many ways. I go visit most of my clients. I only have one client that's totally virtual. The rest of my clients, I do all virtual work, but I love going to see them when I have the chance. And the one guy, when I'm up there, he was working away, showing me some stuff that he was thinking about and this and that and the other. And he was not opening new tabs to do new tasks. And he, all of a sudden he went, "Oh, Kelly, don't yell at me." But my clients, it works for them. I have a client that's gotten too big for me. So she's moving on shortly. And so I'm working with her new bookkeeper to show her how that whole system works for them so that they can keep rolling in the same program, because it works for my client as well. Yeah, the one that's leaving even, right? Leaving the party on a high note. It's all good.
Yeah.
So Diane, what are you using I don't even know what you're using anymore. You know what? I miss you. I have not seen you at all.
Really busy trying to get Trifold off the ground.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Yeah. So, and that's so different than any of this stuff.
Oh man.
It's hard to get your head around it. But
well, you know what?
I've got actually 2 comments for you. One, a question is just, when is the webinar? What's it called? And all of that information so that we can get signed up. But then my other question, and really the reason for me being here, is how do we actually take the bookkeepers that were, training bookkeeping,
yeah,
and level, like I'm finding that this is just way too overwhelming for 95% of the bookkeepers out there. And I don't want to set them up for failure in the area of going to that next level. So now they've got a really good understanding of bookkeeping,
right?
And they want to start to put that automation in place. And I am not into what's going on out there in our world right now, because I think it sets a lot of people up for a huge amount of frustration, even for us old bookkeepers, let alone somebody that's brand new. So I want to be able to give them a path that's proven, that's going to work, and send them on their way to whatever advisor out there that can help them with that. So that's kind of my reason for being here, because just like you, Kelly, I don't take on clients anymore. So I don't have a huge process that I need to be constantly improving.
Okay, so I'm going to qualify a couple of things. I am taking on new clients now.
Oh, wow, good.
I missed having a bigger book of business. So
Yeah,
I'm not actively running around, but the perfect clients, if they come along, I'm really excited about building my bookkeeping back up again.
Yeah, if that perfect client comes along, you can never say no, but they're not very, I'm not out there marketing. I'm not, putting it out there. So
yep. So I think one of the things, Diane, it's going to come down to a couple of things. I think people aren't defining the outcome that they're looking for clearly enough. It's not about automating. Everybody gets super excited about automating. I am very cautious with automation.
Yeah.
So I think the memo's gone out. I'm not assuming that y'all know me, but if you know me, you know I don't create client folders. I don't create coaching folders. I mean, I don't do anything in G Drive. Zapier does that work for me. But when it comes to creating communications for my clients, even those ones that seem automated are in fact scheduled. Because maybe at the beginning of the month, first of all, maybe the first of the month is a Sunday. I already said this, and you want it to go out on the Monday, and you want to make sure it doesn't hit the bottom of their inbox. So for my restaurant clients, believe me, they're getting that at 11 o'clock in the morning, not at 6 o'clock in the morning, because they're not up at 6, right? So you want it to hit the top of the inbox. You want everything to be actionable, but you need to define what it is you want your client to do for you. So it's,
well, I think I think it, you know, again, we have to step back and look at, in my case, I don't want to kind of take over all here, because that's not why everybody else is here. But in my case, you know, when you're a brand new bookkeeper, you just need to know how to get the stuff from the client. That's
right.
it,
but people aren't
defining.
Right. But here's the problem. I don't think everyone is defining well enough what it is that they need to get from the client precisely, and when it is they need to get it from the client.
Agreed. Yes.
It's all well and good to say, hey, I need documents from my clients. Well, that's not actually good enough. What you need is bank statements, all open bills, and all in receipt bank by the 5th of the month.
Yeah.
You don't just say, hey,
absolutely.
You don't just send, hey, send me your shit and I'll do your books.
Yes.
You have to define it. And then step 2 is making it simple for them to do it. So it doesn't matter. It kind of matters, because then this is where automation can come into play. So it kind of matters what the app is if you want them to be nagged automatically. So if they don't do something for you, you don't have to follow up on it. The app is going to follow up on it. But I think even that's a little bit later. First, you have to make it easy. So it's got to be actionable within the communication that goes out. And you have to define it ahead of time. I mean, that's why I have the client handbook. They still get a review of that at the beginning of the year. They roll their eyes at me, and they roll their eyes at me for all kinds of reasons, but I'm not their best friend. Right? They can roll their eyes at me all they want. I have a client who puts it very succinctly every once in a while. She says, I don't necessarily love the technology you use and the tactics that you use with me. I love the outcomes that we get.
Yeah.
She says, I love what you do for me. That's all that matters. So.
See, I want them to love the experience that they're having.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know what, Tiffany, you're right about that. But my clients don't necessarily love signing my contract. They want me to not engage them every year.
I want them to love that experience.
And do they love it?
No, I want them to.
Well, I want them to too. I want every,
give them a cute little unicorn. Give them a, I don't know, a token for $1 off my next service. I don't know, something. I want them to love it.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I agree with you, Tiffany. It's not that I don't want them to love it, but the client that says that, she is never going to love signing my contract. It doesn't matter what I do. Now, I have a little email that goes out at the end of the month that says, your reports are now accurate and you can find them here, yak, yak, yak. And then if everything went perfectly, it says, great job last month. Everything was in on time. You didn't wind up with a nagging email from me. How great is that? So that's the stuff I wouldn't automate. But yeah, I know. It would be nice if they loved every moment of their experience with us. My one client isn't going to, because she doesn't want to do, she's salt of the earth, queen of granola, and wishes we could all just run away and be unicorns together and never have to sign an engagement contract. But she loves how her financial records are. She's getting, you know, she could sell her business tomorrow if she wanted to, which is one of our goals. So that's another thing, Diane, when you talk about the outcomes, if you define for your client the reasons that you want some of these things done too, it makes all the world of difference. I had a client who said to me at one point when he was we were going through the engagement handbook, and he realized he was going to have to keep a logbook for his mileage, and that he was going to not get to write off every meal and hotel and trip and yak. And he just looks at me and he says, who do you work for, me or the CRA? And so then we did a discussion on what the outcomes look like if you weren't compliant. And so, yes, I need all of your source documents, but this is why. And so, Tiffany, it probably leads to that. When you say you want them to have a good experience, if you just arbitrarily tell them you need to get these things to you, but you don't tell them the benefit to them, they're a lot less likely to do it. Right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, I was hoping you would say something so that we could see your outside face.
Oh, no, I mean, yeah, it's not that. It's just I want to make the experience smooth for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they understand why they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a really good point, Tiffany, especially for a brand new bookkeeper, right? They're going to not have that information quite right in the beginning. So a place to be able to send them where that we know exactly this is what you need every single month, regardless of the, you know, a good basis, regardless of the niche you're in or regardless of who the client is. This is where you start to actually engage with the client and get what you need back to be able to, you know, do the actual monthly bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, what Kelly was saying earlier, Diane, about that Google sheet, I think for new bookkeepers, that's actually a really great way of doing it, because most clients understand a spreadsheet.
Yes.
Right. And a Google sheet is included with our price already of our G Suite. So it's not like there's any additional fees. There's not like there's a lot of extra learning that's required. It's super easy to start with. There's not a lot of, you know, explanation and tutorials that are required.
Yep.
So I think for people who are just starting out, this is a huge step for them.
Yeah,
you know, it helps them to be organized.
I thought of that too when Kelly had it up. I thought, this is simple. This is easy. If they don't use Google, it can be in Excel. It's And
you know what? I mean, you can even have where they have like what Kelly was saying about the scheduled emails. They could still do that scheduled email, and in that scheduled email, you can put that link to the Google form or the link to the Office 365 Excel spreadsheet. Right? And then you're not, you know, getting into all once you're down the road and you've got some money in the bank, then you can look at other stuff, or you actually cannot be drowning all the time, then you can maybe look at other apps.
Exactly, Tiffany. That's exactly right.
Well, I'll tell you what one of the big benefits of starting anything in a spreadsheet is. You can upload it to most of the programs later. So what you've done is you've built a good foundation to upload into most of the applications that you use. And if you can't upload a CSV, take my word, you could call up Elia and say, hey, Elia, could you get my template in there? Is Elia listening?
Kind of.
I know that some of the programs you can't get. So Karbon, for example, you can't get a CSV with notes in, but you can get a CSV in. You can get a CSV of the basic tasks in, but what it's not going to do is bring in the descriptions. But if you call them, they'll do it for you. So if you start in a spreadsheet, and again, in a spreadsheet, like literally what we did for this client that we had no idea what direction we were going in. We just kept packing in stuff as it came up, as the problems came up. And now we have a pretty solid workflow. We've got, see this, things like this. This is like all the little details are in there. There's
where are you?
She's got a little mouse in the middle there.
Can you see it?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, okay. So this is what they have to look for in their in their review questionable balances, whatever. I don't know, right?
Yeah,
Best
that
practice
was for
notes.
their GST returns. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this one, right? Prior to me coming on, of course, everything was going in like Stripe and Square were making them insane.
Yeah.
And they were reducing them in a different way because they didn't know any better. So I told them, don't do them, I'll do them. Just put them into undeposited funds, right? So all of that kind of stuff. And the other thing, like I said, that we are doing right now, because we're still hammering out what it's all going to look like, is we have another couple of sheets. We've got a sheet for their CFO to make comments on, and then we've got random tasks and to-dos for me to do over the course of the month. And then you literally highlight them when you're done, right? Until they're fully up and running, because Taxdome is going to be the solution for these guys. 17 hats just isn't going to work for this particular client.
Okay, so is this going to be something that you'll sell with your templates, Kelly?
Yeah, I mean, I could. Yeah, there's no reason I couldn't sell it. I mean, I already
Because that's really what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for a place to actually send them once they're ready and they're, you know, opened up for business and feeling confident. And where can they go to get some of these?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure,
templates?
for sure. You and I can talk about some of that. Yeah, because I've got templates coming out my Woohoo right now. I just haven't put them up on my site.
Yeah.
So
Ilya like that.
the Woohoo.
Ilya like that. Up your wahoo.
It was, and it was out. It was out. Did
So
I
have a quick question about, does anybody have anything good for automating sending reports? We do a month end thing, you know, we put together a little video, we have their reports, we go over, you know, we record a video and do talking points over the reports. Any automated way to send that? Oh yes, see, because I knew who to ask.
not that video in particular. A zap would work for that if you put it somewhere and then you could zap a note to them, like an email with a link to it, for sure.
Or if you're using like a cloud storage, like say for example, ShareFile, as soon as you put something new into a directory, it automatically sends them a note, and then they can it just clicks on it. You don't even have to do anything.
Right. Yeah, we use ShareFile.
And you could upload that. You could upload a video to ShareFile for sure,
right?
Or SharePoint, or any of them. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I do automate is some of the custom reports out of QuickBooks Online, and that's been fantastic. So I have automated daily sales reports for my restaurant clients, go out on the 3rd of the month, so that they know what has not been, they could check them right away and see what dates are missing or what dates don't make sense, or if there's duplicates. So that one goes out. I automate, basically there's a whole series of them. Oh, sales clearing accounts, so that they can see what their sales clearing accounts look like. So they get a bunch of stuff that goes out. I have AR and AP, depends. Now they all know, they have their custom reports on their browser as well, but they basically get a ping saying, hey, go check your reports. And I do actually email, again, this is the make it easy so it gets done. I do email some of those reports out of QuickBooks Online. I know Tiffany's probably making a face because she doesn't believe it. Is it you who doesn't email any reports, right? Out of QuickBooks Online or otherwise?
I do have one client that I email profit and loss, but I'm going to stop that.
Yeah.
What do you do? So what do you do? Do you upload it to ShareFile? And
Yeah, I put it into ShareFile, and then on the ShareFile directory, I have it ticked to notify me when it's downloaded. So then I know that they have seen it.
Okay.
So does anybody actually just use the management reports in
No,
QBO?
do not use those.
They're
No.
terrible.
No.
Do not use those.
Ugh.
Because if you look at the management reports, it's actually got prepared by, and it'll have Diane Mueller or your company name on there. And then they could then take those to the bank, but you haven't necessarily had a proper discussion with them, or, you know, any of that sort of thing. So I will never do that, because then they can go and take my CPA designation off to a financial, like a borrower or something.
Right.
So no, there's too much liability around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can put a note into the financials in there that's, you know, our standard disclaimer that prints out with it.
I have had no luck with them, with the management reports consistently doing what I wanted them to do.
Yeah.
It was like a whack-a-mole of what was happening with them. The custom reports, my clients love them, and I group them. So this is a make it easy so it gets done thing for the clients too. So I have nested my clients' reports so that they are in the order that I want them to look at them, and they are in the order of who needs to deal with them. So for example, it would say 1A sales, daily sales report. And then it would say 1B sales clearing. And those would be all of the reports that my client would look at. Then there's the reports that I need, my HST detail, my profit and loss, comparative. I only do comparatives. So there would be the comparatives, there's the balance sheet, there's the clearing accounts, there's whatever, all in the order that I need to use them. And then I do have the ones that get emailed out to my clients. I don't have anybody with vendor contracts. I don't have anybody, and so there's a few that are auto emailed out of QBO. I don't email any reports to my clients. What I do is I send them an end of the month email that says your reports are now accurate. They can be found in QBO custom reports or here, and a link to their where their drive is.
Yeah, I've been putting them up in SharePoint with a, and then they get, just as Tiffany said, an automatic link that they're there and ready for them.
Yeah.
But I've also allowed the treasurer, I'm thinking of this one that I do it right through the management reports. I've created the treasurer reports. It's just for a strata. So they're not taking it anywhere to banks or anything. And they can go in there just before board meetings and pull those reports right in QBO.
But understand, as the accountant user, I believe your name is all over those.
Yeah.
It does say management reports created by Soma Small Business Solutions.
Yeah.
And then I put a note on it where it says essentials have been created from information gathered from the business owner or from the, treasurer in that particular case. And yeah,
Diane, we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole, but if I were you, I would use is a series of custom reports grouped together that they can just go in and bing, 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 print them off when they need them, rather than the management report.
Okay.
Agreed.
That's just mine and Tiffany's opinion.
Yeah.
Well,
wouldn't it be nice if we actually could
QBO
have
a lot
reports
longer than me? So
Go ahead, Tiff.
Hi, Jessica. Wouldn't it be nice if we could have reports that we could actually have conversations with the clients on? So like where you've noted a few things on the financial statements that it actually is in that report and they can reply to it.
Yeah.
Or they can sign off on it, that they recognize that, or
some type of acknowledgement that they heard what you said.
Yeah, I see a decline in your sales and your advertising is increasing. Have you really considered that you're getting the better bang for your buck with Google ads?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Year-end reports for me go out with a questionnaire saying, have you read them? Do you understand them? Is there anything? And then I have a whole area for text where I can do notes like that. And then at the bottom of it is how they schedule, so that we make sure that we go over those reports before they go off to the accountant. And then they sign that contract saying that they have reviewed them, they do understand them, and yak. But conversational in the report.
Sometimes I find that they need to see those numbers. So what I'll often do is I'll throw them into Excel, and then I'll put notations off to the side, and this is the trend that I'm seeing or something like that. And then they can just review it and go, yeah, I understand, or I don't agree with you, or but I wish there was something that you could actually make them sign off.
Yeah. And conversational would be really cool.
Yeah. Like a live Google Sheet, how you can have the little conversation in the cells.
Yeah, actually that's here. I told them how to do that. Well, okay. Yes, we do that on
or even up in the top right beside your share. You can have a conversation there that isn't necessarily related to a specific.
Yeah.
cell.
I love that.
I know.
Yeah, it's great. Right now, what's interesting is my SaaS guys, they use Azure, so they're totally a Microsoft shop. This sharing and commenting was all news to them because you can't do that in the same way on the
365?
Yes, on the
I
desktop.
think you can do it in 365 now.
Desktop
so.
version.
Yeah, I think so.
No. 365.
No.
365 is not desktop.
No, I know. Like that face. I know.
I know.
They had not been using that. I don't know. I mean, I don't use Excel, so I don't know.
I love it.
They thought this was so cool that we could have full-blown conversations about things in here. So now they're doing all kinds of data dumps for me. They've gone a little overboard, but that's fine. I'd rather they did that right now. So I'm not sure, did we come up with any ideas here? So I guess the summary is make it easy so it gets done. Actionable links, define the outcomes first, right? I'm gonna write this down because I actually
Well, it's recording, so you can just write it down later. Okay.
Oh, stop it. Make your face for me. But I want to do a summary. So it would be define the outcomes, right? I think is important. Make it easy. And that means actionable links. Actionable links. Set the expectations, right? Automate if you can. Automate reminders somehow. And so that would be some of those programs that we've already mentioned. But I'd be careful with automation in general, right? Automation for reminders. And keep it simple in a lot of ways. I think sometimes we're overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
Right?
You're here.
Right. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, and create a Chrome browser for your clients.
Yeah, that's cool. I want to attend that webinar.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I better pick a date to host it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better, because I think
Or
we're
actually
all
do
in
it.
on that one.
Any other great ideas that came out of this? No. And then I think the 4 big ones that solve this are Taxdome, right?
Yep.
Karbon, 17 hats, Dubsado. Those
Excel.
would be, I think so. And Excel.
Or Google Sheets.
Google Sheets isn't going to solve the automating reminders.
Jetpack. Is that just internal more?
Yeah, no, not automated reminders.
Not out front. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's pretty loose-ended on that.
Yeah.
Pretty loose-ended on a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's got some good features to it.
It's got some good ones.
Yep, for sure.
Does anybody know anything about Lisio? I know we're trying to get off, but does anybody have any information about Lisio?
Yep, it's again, the client has to engage with an application. They have absolutely not on their roadmap, not going to do Zapier. So it is
Really?
Because of the security.
The security. He doesn't want to open up the API. He's immobile on that one. Whereas Ilya, I know, is listening to Kelly nagging about Zapier. Right at this moment, you're listening, right, Ilya?
Yes, he's nodding.
Yes, he's
We hear you.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
although Ilya, you do have to be careful around security as well, especially in your platform.
Yeah. Zapier is going to do some of those scheduled emails for you. Would definitely be one, but again, with automated, you can do scheduled emails with Zapier. But this one, I think, like, I wish Amy was in on the meeting. This might solve a few of her issues. Right here, this little beauty. I don't know. I
didn't look into it much. Can you actually program where the reply to button stuff is going? Never mind. I'll look at myself. Never mind.
Atta girl. So Google Sheets is one, but it's not going to automate the nagging, but it does have lovely conversations. And Google Forms. Google Forms is actionable, right? So there you go. They get to check. It's pretty.
Although not secure.
No, not secure.
Okay.
Right.
No uploading corporate documents or social insurance numbers with that.
I don't do taxes, so I'm not getting any of that.
No.
Right? None of that. Well, that wouldn't come in through that anyways, ever. I'm with you. I'm just lucky that I don't need them. I don't have any of my clients' social insurance numbers. Not one of them, right?
Or even corporate incorporation documents.
Yeah, at the beginning of an engagement, I do have those for sure.
Yeah.
Those
or new employees. Can't ask for information like that with new employees.
I don't
Right.
do
No.
payroll. That's all done through WagePoint.
But WagePoint doesn't have any automatic onboarding either. So it's the constant battle of getting all the information on the employees.
True.
Why we love Gusto, because Gusto does it for us.
I know,
We
I've
don't
heard
have it in
amazing
Canada.
things about Gusto.
Gusto's the best. We no
Well,
longer have to deal with documents and uploading it, and they take care of everything. All
We
need
don't
is-
have that in Canada, right?
no,
Oh, you don't?
not yet. Apparently it's on the horizon, someone said, but
Hmm.
not now.
All right.
Which horizon?
Yes, exactly.
Correct.
Did anything else, like, is there anything else that I missed there that would summarize what to do? Did I just summarize an hour right there?
Yeah.
Does it take me too long to get through a topic? Chrome browser? Okay, cool.
We're good.
Well, I'm glad I got to see some people in the accounting world. It's been a little bit of an island for me. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong, it was fun. Dominican was awesome, Florida was awesome, but if I'm not allowed to talk about technology or accounting for 3 and some odd weeks, I was going a little squirrely, so it was good to see those guys. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'll wrap it up then.
Okay.
And away we go. So look for this to be posted tomorrow.
Wonderful. And you're going to set a date for your webinar.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess I better set a date for the Chrome browser webinar. It is.
Yes, please.
Okay, will do.
Okay.
Okay, guys, have a good one. See y'all
Good
later.
to see you.
Bye,
Good to see
Ilya.
you.
Bye, guys.